What's going on, YouTube? It's your man Dyslexic, chilling down here off to the side in the tiny screen. All right, guys, and today we're going to be talking about the Modern Warfare 2 beta review. I had a fair amount of time to be able to play the game, so I got to play it, use all the guns, be able to play all the game modes, and be able to run through all the maps and kind of get a good feel of it. So, guys, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to be jumping right into it. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, definitely make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on, drop a like on the video, and make sure you comment down below what you guys think if you have any comments, questions, or concerns. All right, guys, we got a lot to unpack, so sit back, kick back, relax, and listen to this. So we're going to break it down first thing into three separate categories. We got the meh, the bad, and the good. All right, guys, so we're going to start off with the meh. As you can see in the bottom of the center of the screen, you have the perks that I popped up on the screen. We're going to be talking about the perk system first. So typically it's not the original perk system where you have one perk per tier now. Now it is a 4 perk system. So you start off by editing your class. You go and you pick 2 perks you want to start off with beginning of the game. As you play the game and you hit a certain point into the game, it's going to lock the next tier, which is another perk that you ended up picking for the tier 2 perks. And last but not least, as you keep playing the game, it's going to lock that third perk, that technically your 4th perk, but your 3rd tier for perks. And so then you have 4 perks come at a certain point in the game. They definitely sped this up, so it was a lot faster. It was definitely a lot faster, and so you don't need to be able to play the entire game. Before, you had to almost play 3/4 of the way through the game before you unlock your max perk, which seemed kind of counterintuitive. It was like, why even have the perk if I don't get it till the last 3 minutes of the game? Seemed kind of stupid, but if they wanted to do something different because they wanted to change it just to try something new, they should have just brought back the old school Modern Warfare 2 perk system where you had the regular perk and then the pro version of the perk. A lot of players now that are in the Call of Duty scene never even played the old school Modern Warfare 2, so it would have been completely new to them. It would have been completely fresh to them, whether they liked it or not, didn't know. And then all the old school, old meatheads like me, we would have had that, and it would kind of been that nostalgia feeling. It would have been a feel-good moment of like comparison to the old school Modern Warfare 2. I don't know if they're obviously going to change it at this point. It's not that big of a deal. It's just kind of one of those things. I just feel like if they could have just went about it a little differently, but I'm not against it. Next thing I'm going to talk about, guys, is going to be the weapon leveling system and the gunsmith. This is one of those things that was almost more confusing, but there was one thing that was a little bit worse than this, and we'll get to that in just a second. But the gunsmith leveling and the weapon leveling in general was very confusing. Without going too in-depth with it, there's certain guns you can unlock just simply by leveling up, and then there's certain guns that you had to use. There's certain guns you can get by leveling up, and then there's certain guns that you only could unlock by leveling up a specific gun. So when I'm meaning by these, right, so you could just level up, right, 1 through whatever the max prestige is, and you unlock those guns. And then there's a gun like the MP5 where it requires you to use other guns to level those guns up to unlock the MP5. So I had to use the Lockman 7.62, get to a certain point to unlock the Lockman 5.56, and then I have to level up the Lockman 5.56 to unlock the Lockman SMG, aka the MP5. It's definitely new. It's completely different. A lot of people are going to be confused. A lot of people aren't going to like it because it's different. It's very difficult to understand at first. Once you kind of understand the tree and you look at the progression tree, it kind of makes a little bit more sense, and that's kind of how I had to like tell my friends and explain to them so they can understand it a little bit better. I don't think that this is a bad thing. I definitely wasn't sure if I liked it or not, but I'm sure it'll have its pros and cons because you have guns that'll have certain attachments that share, so you don't have to level the gun up completely to unlock the same exact attachment from one to the other. So that's kind of actually a nice thing about it. The next thing we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about the leveling system. I don't know if there's going to be a prestige or not, guys. I feel like they just need to. I feel like having a prestige be brought back into this game would have added a reason for people to keep playing the game, just another reason to grind. Now that this Call of Duty is going to be on a 2-year cycle, you need to add things to give a reason for people to keep playing. Rather than just resetting people's levels at the end of a season like we've had the last handful of titles, bring back the old prestige system. If you want a prestige, prestige. If you don't want a prestige, you don't have to prestige. Simple as that. All right. And so, yes, the old version was kind of nice. Our current version, they might just keep it the same. But I still think they would have been a great way to be able to have people be able to have a reason to prestige and keep playing the game because they wanted to get their guns re-unlocked and stuff like that that they enjoyed using from the previous prestige. So the next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to start breaking down into the bad stuff. Now we're going to try to summarize through this pretty quickly because we still have a lot to uncover. The audio's completely it just needs to go. It needs to change. It's not acceptable. I have no reason or understanding of why they wanted to make footsteps so loud. Either they need to change that, right, to turn the footstep audio down. They're gonna screw over the competitive scene. Without going too much in depth with it, they need to be able to come with some sort of compromise. For the competitive scene, to keep the competitive players happy and be able to keep that scene entertained. To play Search and Destroy and not have a dead silence perk makes it very difficult to watch Search and Destroy because players sit in the spawns and wait for their field upgrades to level up before they can even make a play, and that shouldn't be how Search and Destroy is played. You should be able to just focus on being able to find lanes and on the map and be able to try to make a play. I think a very solid solution to this, without getting too in depth, is I think that they need to add the Ninja Pro perk, Ninja perk in general, and what that would do is that would dampen the footsteps to make it a lot quieter, but you would still be able to hear them, but not nearly as bad. And then if you wanted to have full dead silence, you need to have the actual dead silence field upgrade as well. So if you want to have silent footsteps, you need to fully commit to it. I think this would be a healthy balance to try to give the people what they want and try to keep Infinity Ward happy. But I'm just a small-time creator, so they're not going to listen to my opinion. Second thing I'm going to talk about is the TTK. The TTK is absolutely ridiculous. You shouldn't be dying in 2 bullets. It's just completely unacceptable. There's points, I was going to make a clip of like constant, I pre-fire somebody that I hear come around the corner because the footstep audio is ridiculously too loud. Next thing you know, the guy comes around the corner and literally hit fire, 1 bullet headshots me, and then I die. That should not happen, regardless. That simply, this is not hardcore. Just raise it a little bit. Just add maybe 1 or 2 more bullets in the chest. I think the TTK is very close, but like that guy, I look at that, boom, put 1 shot into that guy, dead. Like, if you raise it a little bit, I think that would be a healthy balance. Next thing I'm going to talk about is the radar. What they did is they ended up eliminating red dots from the minimap unless you have a UAV active. So people not having to put mini silencers on to not show up on the minimap is kind of the thing now. And they wanted to punish rushers from not being able to figure out where people are at in the spawn and run straight to red dots. I think that was kind of pointless. There is already a mechanic in the game to make it so you didn't pop up on the minimap. And so I think they just need to revert back to it and go back to it. The players that are casuals that don't even care about the radar in general, like they don't look at the radar. They don't use the radar. They don't look at the radar, and they don't pay attention to the radar. They probably don't even know it exists. So there's no point. Or just bring it back. Another thing we're going to talk about now is the UI system. The UI system is completely broken. It's pointless. What I'm meaning by that is that, like, especially with like the social interaction, originally you would have a list of all your friends or whatever. You could add friends. Now it's a grid format where everybody has their own square. And it makes it extremely difficult to scroll through and try to find somebody to try to add them. Extremely difficult, and it's hard. It's just hard. There's no point. Just go back to the list. You're kind of overcomplicating the system. And it was kind of the same thing with the game modes. It was like you had to scroll through like the old Xbox 360 dashboard or whatever when you had to like swipe right or whatever, and it kept pulling the screen off to the right, and that would be like how you picked your game modes. I'm sure they'll add it and change it a little bit, but if they keep it in that kind of a format and that grid style, it adds new taste to it, and it's different from what we've seen. But the list format is simplistic. It works. People like it. It's easy to navigate. Just go back to it. You're going to overcomplicate it and confuse people, and it's going to make people just have a negative view of your game over something so minor. Now, guys, I want to really talk about the good things because actually, no, I lied. One more thing. I'm sorry. I have seen reports and tweets of screenshots of hacking companies already coming out saying that their hacks are rolling out. This is unacceptable, Infinity Ward. You need to figure this out. We need to get this taken care of. We need to nip this in the butt as much as we can. We need to push this as hard as we can to try to end this nostalgia. Nothing Nothing makes me more aggravated than me playing with players and every time they die, all I hear is oh, they're hacking. Oh, they're hacking. Oh, they're hacking. 9 times out of 10, they're probably not hacking and they just got world start, or they don't understand and they're just a noob at the game. But the problem is you created the stigma where people think that you're hacking all the time. And now that I'm seeing these screenshots, you really need to just jump right on an Infinity Ward, please, and just get this taken care of before this gets too out of hand again. Now, I really do want to start talking about the good things, guys, because there are a fair amount of good things. First, we're going to start off with the maps. The maps are absolutely beautiful, guys. The maps are laid out very well. The maps that they put out in the beta actually were quite enjoyable. I could see 2 out of the 4 that I played being very good competitive maps. And you only need 5 or 6 good competitive maps to make a really good competitive season. So I'm very happy about that. The maps felt really good. The color was good. You could be able to see things very well. The map that I was playing on right now is part of actually the new Warzone. So that was actually kind of exciting. I actually enjoyed this new game mode. So that jumps right into the game modes itself. The game modes felt good. They had a fair amount of extra search and destroy style modes. Got to play standard TDM, domination, invasion, ground war. Kind of felt like the same for a lot of the stuff. But the game modes were good overall. The guns honestly felt very good. The guns look good. They kind of feel good, right? They feel good in your hands. The visual recoil, they were adjusting and fixing as the beta was going on, so it progressively got a little bit better. So I do enjoy the guns. There are a fair amount of guns that just simply feel good, and they're simplistic, they're clean, there's nothing too much about them. I don't like the red dot personally, but that's just my personal opinion. The next thing we're going to talk about is the gunplay itself with these guns, right? The gunplay for these guns, the strafing that's moved to the movement of these guns feels actually really good. It feels really good. It feels very clean. Feels like you have control of the game, the control of the gun at all times. And so that makes the game more fun to play when you actually can. I personally feel like I can connect with that gun in a way. When it just feels right, it feels right. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of people are going to be able to enjoy this. And that leads to the next thing, the movement. We're not doing no more slide canceling. All right, guys, it's done. It's completely changed. It's gone. The slide canceling, there's too big of a delay now where you don't shoot. All right, guys, and so it's completely different, but it's in a good kind of a different. There's still a fast tack sprint. There's ways that people are trying to find a way to reset the tax sprint as we were speaking, as we were playing the betas. People were trying to figure it out, kind of get that taken care of. But other than that, guys, I think that's pretty much it. My overall opinion, though, guys, of the game is that I think that maybe if you wanted to hold off on the game a little bit, maybe wait for a couple weeks to see if there's a couple updates that go and they change a couple things, and wait to see a couple more people see what they changed from the beta to the release. Other than that, I'm definitely getting the game right away, obviously, because I pre-ordered it. I really enjoyed the game. I'm super excited to start grinding the game. Obviously, if you guys aren't aware, when the game drops, I do have a week-long event of giveaways and prizes and events, and it's going to be a fun week right when the game drops. So if you guys aren't aware about that, I do have a video on my YouTube channel, guys, so definitely go and make sure you check that out. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Thank you guys all. Take care, brush your hair, have a wonderful day. Peace.